Hey, brother. How are you doing? Heard from our mutual friends that something terrible had happened in your family. Hold on, brother. Hello. Yes. Rumors spread fast. How did it all come about for you? That all started a couple of months ago. At least that's when I started to suspect. Isabella and I started quarreling a lot. Couldn't figure out whether to hire a nanny for our child or not, and how to balance our schedule with the child's needs. Then she got a job at a cafe from 4 to 11 p.m. Our children were in kindergarten until 4 p.m., so I was more involved with them. I picked them up from kindergarten, took them home, fed them, played with them, and did all the housework. I suggested hiring a nanny, but she believed I would cheat on her with the nanny. In the end, she offered her friend as a nanny, but she wouldn't be available for 3 months. I agreed, but then Isabella started taking advantage of my kindness. She would stay at work until 3 or 4 a.m., or not come home at all, saying she was staying with her partner. At first I didn't pay much attention, but it started to worry me a lot. Oh, this already sounds like a typical story of infidelity. I thought the same thing, so I decided to be honest and ask her to show me her phone. As a result, we quarreled for several days in a row because of this. It got to the point where I started yelling at her, "Either you show me your phone, or I will file for divorce." At that moment, she thought and began to cry. She said she needed to freshen up, and then she would give me her phone. I agreed, but I knew this was a disastrous business. She came back and gave me her phone. I looked through everything on her phone and found nothing. But then I decided to check Messenger. There, I found a correspondence with another woman who Isabella claimed was her work partner. The correspondence was very intimate, with my wife sending a lot of photos in underwear and such. When I asked her about it, she said that she was intimate with this woman named Belle, and tried to justify it by saying that it was just a game, and that intimacy with a woman is not considered cheating. I agreed with her on this, but something still worried me. Then Isabella even suggested a 3-way, knowing that I would never agree. And if I had agreed, she would have been offended and angry with me, thinking that I liked another woman besides her. In fact, she had very low self-esteem. She always thought that I could leave her for another woman. Maybe that's why she cheated. She wanted to show me that she was worth something. I don't know. It seems that way. So, a week after this incident, I happened to meet her work partner on the street. We talked, and I wanted to know more about this mysterious girl named Belle. You know what turned out? No one named Belle works at their cafe. He didn't understand what I was asking. Then I realized my wife had lied to me. I thought for a long time about what to do. But this time I already knew for sure that there was no point in asking my wife about this incident, because she would again start lying to me, inventing stories, and shouting. Isabella never left her phone. Even when she went to shower, she took it with her. But one time, after she took a bath, she went to the bedroom for some cream. At that moment, I went into the bathroom and saw that her phone was lying on the sink, unlocked. She probably walked away for just a second and was about to return. I realized that this was a sign and began to independently look for evidence of her infidelity. Isabella immediately began to knock on my door, asking me to open it, and then completely turned to shouting. But I didn't care anymore. I started reading the correspondence with Belle and scrolling to the very top. I saw that my wife called this girl, not Belle, but Jordan. I also reread her correspondence with other such girlfriends. As you already understood, these were not her girlfriends. She signed her lover with female names so that I would not guess that she could cheat on me. I even found in her correspondence her ex, whom she met before we got married. I wrote down the number of her ex and some other men while my wife outside the door did not stop screaming and pulling the door. I got out of the bathroom and Isabella saw everything on my face. She started crying and apologizing, but I knew not to fall for it. I just silently walked to the bedroom and went to bed, although in my soul, I was in great pain. Oh my God! And what did you do in this situation? I decided to teach her a lesson. She was always afraid that I would find someone for myself, and in the end, she cheated herself. I wanted to show her what it's like to be cheated on, so I downloaded a dating app and met 3 girls at once. I even brought one girl to our house and made love to her. When Isabella caught me with another girl, she ran away in tears and then sobbed all night. She could not say anything to reproach me, because she herself acted in the same way. She just walked around all day with red eyes and was silent. Then she dared to approach me and apologize. She said that she realized everything and that it would never happen again. She swore eternal love to me and promised me that she would be the best wife for me and the best mother for our children. She looked rather broken, and it seemed to me that she was telling the truth. Oh, so you decided to reconcile with her? Yes, I decided to give her another chance. I really don't want to lose my family. I don't want this to affect my children in any way, because they are still too young. Divorce would be a real blow for them. So now Isabella and I are together and trying to rebuild our relationship. We have also decided to sign up for family therapy, and we have even attended one session already. Isabella is not particularly enthusiastic about this because she believes that we can resolve our issues on our own without the help of a therapist. However, I believe that over time her position will change because I am convinced that therapy is necessary in our situation. Honestly, I don't really approve of your decision, because I believe that if a person has already cheated once, they will cheat again. These people don't change. But if you have made up your mind, then I support you. Good luck, brother, and happiness to your family. Thank you. Hello. You were right after all. People who cheat don't change. They will keep cheating. It is already in their blood. Hey, what's up now? Did she cheat on you again? Tell me. Yes, and it was very similar to the previous time. After we reconciled, our relationship was restored for a month and a half. We behaved like a healthy, happy family. We went for walks together, took care of the children, and things like that. However, we stopped going to family therapy because our therapist kept bringing up her infidelity, which made her defensive and angry. She said it was a waste of money and time, and didn't believe we could achieve anything with it. I didn't want to argue with her since we had just started on the path of fixing things, so I agreed with her opinion, and we stopped attending sessions. But then she stopped sleeping at home again. I began to suspect something was wrong. She would always swear that she was working hard and fell asleep at work, but I no longer believed her. We began to have arguments, shouting, and scandals again. She kept throwing everything we had at home at me and accusing me of not trusting her. That's when I decided to check it out. I bought a new number and wrote to all the men whose contacts I found on her phone. That day she was babysitting, so I knew that she would not use the phone. Therefore, when I messaged them, I introduced myself as Isabella and said that I had lost my last phone. I did not turn on the phone until the evening because I wanted to see the reaction of all the men at once. In the evening, when I checked the messages, I saw that everyone I had messaged had responded. One of the men wrote something like, "Maybe you forgot it at my house the day before yesterday." And the other said that half a day without her messages seemed like hell for him. I was in so much pain again. I couldn't believe it had happened again. I wanted so badly to forget about what happened last time, but it turned out that she had continued to see other men behind my back all this time. Oh, that's terrible. What did you do next? I decided to continue communicating with her ex, Thomas. They dated before we got married, and I wanted to check whether male solidarity works, and I confessed to him that it was not Isabella who was writing to him. So we started a conversation, and I learned that for all these 10 years of our marriage, they had regularly seen each other every other month and made love. He had even heard about her adventures from her more than once. She talked about it with him like an old buddy and bragged about it. And when he asked her why she was doing all this with him and other men, she replied that she just wanted to have fun. He also said that he knew I was a good guy and regretted that the situation turned out this way for me. And then he accidentally let slip that Isabella often told him that our first daughter, Ava, was his daughter. I was horrified by everything he told me. It tore me apart. Jesus, but maybe he lied to you. I wanted to know the truth, so the very next day I did a DNA test. While I was waiting for the results, I couldn't find peace. I love my children very much and always thought that they looked a lot like me. I hoped that the DNA test would confirm that Ava was my daughter, but it turned out quite differently. The test results came, and 10 years later, I found out that Ava is not my daughter. I realized that this was the end, and that things couldn't continue like this. It's a crappy feeling, bro. I really sympathize. Did you break up with Isabella? Mentally, yes. So I decided to tell her directly and openly that I was leaving her. At first, she looked at me in bewilderment and asked what happened. But when I told her that I knew all about her adventures and was not going to tolerate it, she seemed to have blown off the roof. She started behaving like crazy, screaming, throwing things at me, and slapping me. Every time I told her that I was leaving, she started to beat me. When I tried to protect myself from her, she said, "Don't touch me, stop climbing on me," and continued to slap me. After that, she began to threaten me that she would end her life in front of me and the children. She threw food at me and later threw my Xbox at my head. We had experienced such situations before, and once she even threw a slow cooker at me. But this time, she was more out of control. Usually, such situations occur when I found out that she was lying. So I tried to fight her off and kept telling her that we would never be together. But she just continued to behave inappropriately. She yelled, "Clap me, come on me, clap me." And when I said I would call the police, she grabbed the phone from me and called the police herself. She said she wanted to hear the advice of the cops and just play around. They immediately came to us. She asked me to tell the officers that nothing had happened before and that she had done nothing wrong. I said that I would only speak the truth. When they arrived at our apartment, one officer went to talk to my wife, and the second one stayed to talk to me. While we were having a conversation, the officer who spoke with my wife came out to us and said that there was no problems, and they could leave. But the officer who spoke to me stopped him and recounted my story of events. At that time, my wife went outside to throw the garbage, thinking that the officers were already leaving and that the situation would not affect us in any way. However, the officers followed her and arrested her, putting her in the car. What? I don't know what's worse, the situation itself or its consequences. What happened next? I was horrified. I didn't want this. My wife wanted to expose my bluff and called the cops, and this is what it turned out to be. I wanted the cops to just warn her and leave, but I didn't think they would arrest her. And so, now she was in jail. She called me while she was there, and every time she asked me to tell her that I love her, but I just remained silent at such moments. Then I decided to ask her how all her other men are, and why they do not call or visit her. I also asked her, maybe they'll look after the kids while you're there. She again apologized, cried, and said that she was bored and that she did not need anyone but me. I didn't believe her anymore. She had bail set at $50,000. All this because she endangered the safety of our children with her actions. After that, she had a court session. The judge said that the protection order would be valid for 5 years, or until I decide to cancel it myself. I didn't know what to do. The children were scared and broken, and I was lost too. I didn't want to raise my kids alone. Not because it would be difficult for me, but because I was worried about the children's well-being. I didn't want them to be traumatized by such circumstances. I have always believed that I can build a good, healthy family. Therefore, I decided to withdraw the warrant for 30 days to see how she would behave and how she would interact with the children. I think this is the right decision. But how will you manage? Have you made any plans? Yes, I have decided. I will file for divorce. It's been a tough road, but I know that I made the right decision. It was hard to come to terms with the fact that the person I loved and trusted for 10 years has been deceiving me for so long. It was like a punch in the gut when I found out, and it took a toll on my mental health. I felt like I had aged decades in just a few months. But I'm slowly starting to recover and find my footing again. I'm taking things one day at a time and focusing on being the best father I can be for my kids. They are my top priority, and I want to make sure that they are not affected by this any more than they already have been. I've been spending a lot of quality time with them, taking them to the park, playing board games, and doing things that they enjoy. As for the divorce, it's not an easy process, but I'm grateful that I have a good lawyer who is helping me navigate it. It's going to take time, but I'm hopeful that things will work out in the end. It's important to me that Isabella takes responsibility for her actions and that she gets the help she needs to deal with her issues. I wish her the best, but I know that I need to move on for the sake of my kids and myself. I believe that moving to a new city is the best choice. I want my children to have a fresh start and a chance to make new memories without any negative associations with our current home. I've already started looking for new houses, and I have a plan in mind. I want to buy 2 houses that are close to each other, one for my soon-to-be ex-wife, and the other for me and the kids. This way, the children will have the opportunity to visit their mother and maintain a relationship with her. I also talked to Ava, my oldest daughter, about my plans. She shared her own experiences with me and told me that she had suspected that something wasn't right between me and her mother for a long time. But she was too afraid to say anything. When I suggested the idea of moving to a new city, Ava was excited about the prospect. Of course, my other children are still young and may not fully understand what's going on, so I presented the idea to them as an exciting adventure. I believe that moving to a new city will not only give us a fresh start, but will also help us heal and move on from the past. It's cool that you and your daughter came to the same decision. You are a good father, and your children will definitely support you in everything. I hope this terrible story is over, and now you will live in peace. I thank you for your support.